There are a lot of things that you could be doing or can be happening to ruin your car's paint. A whole host of things. And a lot of people obviously aren't intentionally ruining their paint, but a lot of people are actually ruining their paint when they're washing their car. And so washing is something that we do obviously frequently. And it's a big part of the process where actually a lot of scratches happen. And so I thought I'd break down as I talk to newer detailers and DIYers, enthusiasts, and people really coming into the hobby of car cleaning. I thought it would be helpful to make a list of, I think, probably like the 8 or 9 most important things, or 8 or 9 things that happen, especially during the wash process, that is actually ruining your paint over the long term. So I'll get right into it. So the first thing that most people are doing wrong, and it's so crazy, and it kind of goes into this theme that I'm actually really kind of figuring out and kind of hammering through, that you'll hear me talk about a lot more through a lot of my videos. And the first thing is a way outdated method, which is pre-rinsing your car with a steady stream of water. This is honestly the most basic form of what everyone does when they go to wash their car, right? It would be something that no one would argue about. Of course, you have a steady stream of water, whether it's a garden hose or a pressure washer, and you rinse all that debris and contamination off your car before you hit it with your soap in a bucket, right? However, water doesn't really do anything. I found this out through multiple tests that I've run, and I think we're actually changing the way that we do wash cars, and people are really receptive to it because it actually works way better. And that is just to do a dry foam on your car or pre-soak your car. Do not pre-rinse, but rather pre-soak or foam a dry car. At least with me, the foam with the super soaper is very functional. So a functional soap will actually do something on the surface of the car. It'll actually help you clean your car. So often we see people rinse with a steady stream of water, and then maybe they go to a 2-bucket method. But what is actually happening is that there's still so much dirt and debris left on the surface that even though you have multiple buckets that you're trying to mitigate, how much debris is on your wash mitt as you go to wash your car, you didn't actually remove that much by pre-rinsing it. So if you just switch up your steps a little bit and you foam a dry car, and then you rinse the foam off, and you use a high quality soap that's designed to do this, you will eliminate a lot of that scratching because you're eliminating a lot of that debris. And again, it kind of goes into my second tip of like outdated wash methods. So the 2-bucket wash method is not a bad method, but it's not the safest option, not the safest or most efficient. And what I've really, the thought that I've had recently is that because I'm like the chemical guy, like I love chemicals, right? I know there's a lot of people on YouTube that love pressure washers or hoses or tools or tricks or whatever. And I love chemicals, right? And so what I've realized though, and what I've really started to kind of figure out, because I've worked for chemical manufacturers, I've worked with blenders, I obviously have my own product line. And what I've really figured out and started to kind of hone in on is that car wash methods have been designed because of the chemistry that's available. So I think the 2-bucket wash method really was born out of, and so many methods are born out of the chemistry technology that we have at the time. And so the 2-bucket wash method was designed to try to eliminate or reduce the amount of scratching that you have with your car. The problem is that it's just a pH neutral soap. So when you hear about other brands talking about their soap, they talk about, how lubricious it is, or the lubricity of it, right? That is how slick it is to rub your wash mitt across the surface of the car. The problem is that you haven't removed enough debris yet. You haven't removed enough dirt yet. So when I was developing a soap, and kind of my method for developing products is, what am I trying to solve? And then let's build a product to do that. not what products do I have available, and then let's build a process around what I have available. I start with the end result in mind and then work my way backwards, which I think is a really big differentiator as I try to actually make products that make a difference. And so, I don't use the 2-bucket method. I think the 2-bucket method is outdated. What I would rather do is let the chemistry, let the chemicals do the work for me. I want to enjoy the hobby. I don't want to, I've done so many cars over the years, and it's so taxing and so time consuming that I would like the chemistry, the liquids to do more work for me, right? And so I think the 2-bucket method is just that, is the fact that it was a method born out of a kind of old school system, old school chemistry, right? But if we just switch up, instead of pre-rinsing with a steady stream of water, you just take your dry car and you foam it, or whether you use a pump sprayer or however you want to pre-soak it, and let the chemical do the work. And then you rinse that off and you have like a 90 to 95% clean surface. And then you could foam again and then go in with the contact wash if you want to do that. That is products built on purpose, built for a specific way to do things to make it even better. And I think if we're introducing new products to the market, we need to make them even better than what the current products are, right? And that kind of goes into my next thing of like, the internet always says like, don't watch. You still hear people, never wash in direct sun, or how are you waxing in direct sun? And I really think that the problem is not that you need to wash, that you can't do things in direct sun, but you need to actually have products that work in the sun. And again, I think this old school mentality of like coming from the old carnauba days, the real old carnauba days where the wax would just dry so fast, it would harden so much, and you couldn't do it out in the sun because it would speed up that process even quicker. But again, if we think about modern technology and modern chemistry, and if you have a brand that's interested in that like I am, then it really becomes indifferent to like in the sun, in the shade. And then it just comes down about like, are you comfortable in the sun? That's it, right? And so the products, my products at least, are intended to always work in the sun. I have a long, long history of being a mobile detailer where my only option was to be outside. And so I specifically look and want products that will and are designed to work just as well in direct sun as they are in the shade, right? And so we don't see that too often. That is still a rarity to see that. I get questions asked all the time, the soap. If I'm foaming a dry car, can I do it when the panels are hot? Now, I do throw out a blanket statement because I think it's obvious. Like if your panels are scorching hot, maybe a steady stream of water to cool the surface down, right? And then go into your foam is smart. But a lot of other brands and a lot of other products, the reason why you can't spray it on a hot surface is because it will streak on the surface. It will stain on the surface. But my products aren't designed like that. They are designed to not do that. So you can foam a hot car. Why? Well, because sometimes I don't have the option. If I'm a mobile detailer and I'm outside, sometimes I don't have an option to cool that panel down. Obviously, I will still continue to say, like, ideally cool the panel down, but it doesn't have to be a cool down inside, climate controlled, surface. And I think that's so often what happens and used to drive me nuts is like, you have to have all these ideal circumstances for a product to work ideally. And the reality is that those ideal circumstances only happen in a lab and they don't happen in the real world. Right. And so I had to adapt my product brand. I had to adapt my chemistry, my formulas to be different and to actually work in those situations. And so they do. So though, there's stuff that is like common, detail knowledge, but that is evolving as chemistry evolves and as chemicals get better. Another big one is, and I just did a full episode on this, is another thing that's kind of ruining your wash process, maybe not ruining your paint, but ruining your wash process, is using traditional glass cleaners, right? So again, I think the best glass cleaner is actually no glass cleaner. I think too much of the formula gets in the way. And so I think glass cleaners are just another way for brands to, it's another profit center, which I think is fine. But honestly, if you're struggling with glass cleaning, switch to just deionized water or switch to distilled water only. Maybe literally only, and see if that works. Obviously, if you have heavy buildup, heavy grime on the window, you want to clean that off first. But honestly, the best glass cleaner is actually no glass cleaner at all. It's just deionized water or distilled water. So I think another area where you actually can be ruining the paint is in the drying process. But I think a lot of the drying process actually starts at the washing process, like I've talked about. So making sure the surface of the car is actually as clean as possible before you go in with a towel. And I think making sure you use a blower or compressed air. I know a lot of people get like all worried about what type of air to use or what type of blower to use. But honestly, any blower will be totally fine. You could use a leaf blower. You can use compressed air. It's totally fine. So to help with drying, you should use deionized water. So deionized water, again, leaves nothing behind. It is incredibly effective. And I'm a big proponent of telling people before you get a pressure washer, before you get anything else, get deionized water, because I don't think that there's anything that will make your wash process more enjoyable than having spot-free water. And then also you won't be ruining your paint by getting water spots and then having to actually remove the water spots, right? And so starting with having deionized water, however you do that, whether that's, renting tanks, buying tanks, switching out your own resin, whether that's, buying, DI water from the local detail supply store and putting it in a water tank in your garage. I mean, there's a bunch of different ways that you can do that. But again, I think deionized water is probably my number one recommendation to not ruin your paint. Yeah. So another thing I think people do that just doesn't really make any sense is just using a weak kind of wheel cleaner. Just don't clean that well. I mean, just use soap, or they're either using one that's doesn't do enough cleaning, or they're using one that's too aggressive, right? It's kind of right in there. And so for the vast majority of people, especially if you're worried about your rims or worried about, the finish on your rims, just as you foam the car, clean your rims and tires as you do that. I know we're starting to see a lot of data come out that like the browning and removing the browning from tires actually isn't as good for the tires we thought it was. It can actually lead to premature failure of the tire. And so just aggressively scrubbing everything, you usually don't need to do that. If detailing is a hobby, you enjoy car washing, chances are your car's not dirty enough to warrant like using a iron remover on your wheels and tires every time. Something like the Super Soaper, again, that has very, very good cleaning ability is going to be absolutely perfect for that. So another big area that I see people make a mistake is they use like an all-purpose cleaner or whatever you want to call it, an all-purpose cleaner degreaser for everything. And the problem is that APCs or all-purpose cleaners are generally too harsh, especially on interiors. But I've seen a lot of brands recommending pre-soaking with an all-purpose cleaner. And then I've seen people taking up that method and then complaining that they're getting stripes and stuff on their plastics. And that's because the all-purpose cleaners are too aggressive. And I know the brands will try to, not admit that, but it is, from all my experience, that's exactly what it is that you're pre-soaking with a high pH, heavy-duty cleaner. And that's when you really don't want to apply that to a hot panel because it will streak. It'll damage your paint. It'll strip your waxes. It'll degrade your plastics. So then you need to do a trim restore or a black restore on your plastics. And that's just the outside of the car. On the interiors, APCs are usually way too hard. Again, they can cause streaking. They could dry out plastics, especially over time. Dedicated products work way better. Interior complete cabin cleaner, an interior specific product that you can dilute a ton of different ways is going to be a much better fit than trying to save a little bit of money and do an APC on everything. Again, do not pre-soak your car with an all-purpose cleaner. You are going to dry out your plastics prematurely. You're going to get streaking. You're going to get issues. Use a cleaner and a pre-wash soap like the Super Soaper that is as close to pH neutral as I could get it while still being effective, and you still get all the other benefits of every other soap out there. It is incredibly slick and lubricious. Fine. It is a super foamer, right? But that foam is functional. I always talk about that. Functional foam. It has to be doing something. It can't just look pretty, right? These products are intended and developed on purpose to do things where other products fall short. You do not need to pre-soak with an APC. In fact, again, pre-soaking with an APC in direct sun is a big no-no because that APC is too harsh. But it doesn't mean that you should never wash in direct sun. It doesn't mean that you should never pre-soak with a heavier chemical, but you need the right chemical. You need the right brand, the people that understand the chemistry that enable you to do that. To throw out a blanket statement like you should never wash your car in the sun is just a fallacy. You just need the right products, right? So, and then of course, what I think probably the number 2 other than deionized water, but one of the next biggest mistakes people do is they don't protect the car. So when you add protection, it's going to make future washing easier and safer. And then, of course, you don't get as much dust buildup. Dirt and grime doesn't stick as much. It's protecting that clear coat underneath. So making sure you have some sort of paint protection on the car is going to obviously make it so you don't ruin your paint later. So tough as shell, the gloss boss, the ceramic coating, whatever. I would pick something that is very easy to apply. You can apply it even during the drying process, which will help you dry your car better. So you can do a couple sprays of tough as shell before you use like the massive drying towel and dry your car. And then you're doing double duty. You have a drying aid, which is adding more slickness to the paint. It's helping that towel glide across the paint, but you've already cleaned off everything off the paint with the Super Soaper. Then while you're drying it, you're adding paint protection onto it. It's going to make your car stay cleaner for longer. It's going to look better, and it's going to be easier to clean the next time you drive it. So easier drying, it's better long-term for your paint, right? So I think the biggest hurdle that people deal with is that detailing is very overcomplicated. And I think that there are too many products, there's too many steps, there's too much confusion. I think detailing should be enjoyable, and I think a lot of people get to this point to where they haven't washed their car in a long time, and they've actually neglected their car because they don't know what products to pick up. They don't know what to do. And so what I've tried to do with the Jimbo's Detailing line and with all these videos and podcasts is to make this very simple, very straightforward, very easy to understand. And sometimes if we understand what the problems are that are causing the issue that we have, we could then not do those things. So those are kind of something I just wanted to get out there. Hopefully that helps. Hopefully that makes sense. But those are a few things that I notice people do that actually ruin their car's paint. So I will link all the products that I talked about below. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed that one, and I'll catch you on the next one. See ya.